You're watching Inside the Michael Jackson Mansion and never can say goodbye. Join us in this special hour as we share personal stories from the people who knew and loved Michael Jackson.
Michael was a prankster, and he loved, playing jokes on people, and he loved to play.
We'll take you from his humble beginnings through his meteoric rise.
I'm most comfortable on stage than any place in the world, because you just light up on stage. It's magic.
And we'll take you inside this lavish chateau to show you where and how the king of pop lived.
Michael Jackson was the king of pop, the biggest star in the world. He could have lived anywhere he wanted, and he chose this home because it's truly special, and we're going to show you why.
Then, we'll give you a behind-the-scenes look at the inside places where Michael and his children spent quality time together.
He was a big fan about sitting down and eating with your kids and sharing what happened during the day with each other.
Finally, the mansion's master bedroom, where Michael spent his last living days.
Everything was coming together for him. He was so excited. And it's hard, that happened to him there.
That's all here starting right now on Inside the Michael Jackson Mansion, Never Can Say Goodbye. Welcome, everyone. I'm John Kelly.
And I'm Jennifer Lucas. And you're watching an exclusive one-hour television event on the iconic King of Pop, Michael Jackson.
Well, Jennifer, after a self-imposed exile lasting nearly a decade, that's right, Michael was back in the spotlight, getting set for his London concert series tour.
Now it's a whole new chapter for Michael and his 3 children. They had just moved into a new home in the upscale neighborhood of Holmby Hills that rented for a staggering $100,000 a month.
100 grand? Wow. And keeping true to form, yes, that was Michael's eccentric tastes and, of course, just part of his amazing life. Sadly, it's the place where Michael Jackson spent his last days and ultimately the final moments of his life.
Now only a few people have been allowed access into the home until today.
So join us now as we take you inside the Michael Jackson Mansion. Grand, palatial, regal, a house fit for a king. Well, not so far off, since it was the last home to the king of pop, Michael Jackson.
It's the feel of the house. When you walk in, the grandness and everything, but I think the entryway got him. He walks in and he goes, this is it. When he did want something, he had a way of getting it.
This is the place where he and his children found refuge and tranquility while he prepared for his final tour.
This is it. This is it.
At a press conference in London, Michael Jackson announced his concert tour, This Is It. It was his first concert tour since history in 1997.
I'll be performing the songs my fans want to hear. This is it. I mean, this is really it. This is the final curtain call. This is it, and see you in July.
The reclusive king of pop who once shunned the spotlight was now stepping directly into it. And there's no neighborhood better suited for Hollywood royalty than the area of Holmby Hills. So perhaps it's not surprising that when Michael Jackson returned to Los Angeles, this is the neighborhood where he chose to live.
The house at 100 Carrollwood is in one of the most exclusive areas of Los Angeles. It's right on the corner of Carrollwood and Sunset. There's a lot of celebrity that live in that area. Elvis Presley actually had a house near there.
The other king, Elvis Presley, lived right across the street.
I was concerned because the star maps are there and stuff, and he didn't really care.
There aren't many neighborhoods more star-studded than Holmby Hills. Every day, tourists flock to this vicinity to see where their favorite celebs live. A star map tour will take you past the Holmby Hills homes of such Hollywood icons as Marilyn Monroe, Walt Disney, Fred Astaire, Gregory Peck, Charlie Chaplin, and Lucille Ball.
He wanted to be in the Bel Air, Holmby Hills area, and I knew all the homes, even properties that weren't on the market.
Joyce Essex, the #1 realtor in Southern California, had the pleasure of finding Jackson in his new home.
He didn't mind being in LA right now. I think that was part of his thing. He wanted to be a little more back in the action, but he wanted privacy in his home.
His home, a 20,000 square foot mansion situated in the ultra-exclusive and outrageously expensive suburb of Beverly Hills. For Michael, it was just far enough away from the hustle and bustle of fast-paced LA.
This house is so classy. There's a really sense of elegance in the home. The minute you drive up the gate and those beautiful gates open, you know that you've arrived to a place that's very special.
The house was built by developer Mohammed Hadid for his family back in 2002.
It's romantic, it's understated, and it's a beautiful house. It's one of the most beautiful homes of all time.
This 8-bedroom chateau-inspired home rented for an excessive $100,000 per month. Today's market value, which escalates by the week, is now an astounding $40 million.
Michael loved the house. It was grand. It had everything in it he wanted. It worked out perfect for him.
When we come back, Michael Jackson's meteoric rise from his humble beginnings.
Plus, wonderful stories from the people who knew and loved him when Inside the Michael Jackson Mansion returns after this. Don't go away. Inside the Michael Jackson Mansion will be back right after this. You're watching Inside the Michael Jackson Mansion. Never can say goodbye.
Michael Jackson's rise was meteoric. His talent was first discovered as a small boy, and when he found the spotlight, he never left it. Now, the King of Pop dominated the stage for decades, and the stage was actually where he felt the least vulnerable. And it was the place where we first idolized our pop icon. You couldn't get much further from the mansions of Holmby Hills than Michael Jackson's humble beginnings in Gary, Indiana, a once thriving steel town just 25 miles outside of Chicago that had once seen better days. It was there that Joe and Katherine Jackson started their family. Michael Joseph Jackson was the 7th of 9 children.
Me and Michael were great friends as children, 9, 10, 11, all the way up until young adulthood.
Kerry Gordy, record producer and son of Motown founder Berry Gordy, grew up with Michael Jackson. He gave us a little insight into who the pop star was.
Michael was a prankster, and he loved, playing jokes on people, and he loved to play. So I saw him as a kid, but the way that he was and all of the talent that he had, not just dancing, but writing and singing. I mean, he was amazing on all fronts.
Amazing he was. In 1968, at the ripe old age of 9, Michael made his debut as he joined his brother's group, the Jacksons, which soon became the Jackson 5.
As a little kid, we put him up front because he danced so much and had so much energy.
Michael signed to Motown when he was 8 or 9. It was hit after hit for 7 years. And they had sold in the scores of millions prior to leaving.
The Jackson 5 were music phenoms, and in the 70s, their music broke down racial barriers.
And they're all holding hands and everybody's rocking and all colors of people are there, all races, and it's the most wonderful thing.
The band would soon serve as a launch pad for Michael's solo career. Rock With You was the hit from Michael's first album, Off the Wall.
You never know if someone's going to take off because that's not only a timing thing and a God thing and a luck thing, but you knew that he had the potential to be incredible.
And boy, was Michael Jackson incredible. Michael's 1982 album Thriller still remains the world's best-selling album of all time, and 4 of his other solo albums are among the world's best-selling records. From 1979's Off the Wall to 1987's Bad to Dangerous in 91 and History in 95.
Everybody wanted to work with him in the music industry, period. I don't know no producer that was like, I don't want to work. Everybody wanted to work with Michael.
Rodney Jerkins collaborated with Michael Jackson on his #1 hit, You Rock My World.
It's one thing to be able to write and work with someone like Michael Jackson, but it's another thing when you have an actual hit record with him. And it's great to know that one of my #1s that stand out on my list was with Michael Jackson.
Don't Stop Till You Get Enough was Michael's anthem when it came to performing on stage, because this is the place where he truly shined.
I'm most comfortable on stage than any place in the world. It's just, you just light up on stage. It's magic.
Unfortunately, Michael Jackson wasn't the only one who couldn't stop until they got enough. His fans were insatiable and the paparazzi relentless.
There's a time when I give a concert, I like to have as many people want to come can come and enjoy the show. And there's a time where you like to be in private when you put on your pajamas, go to sleep, cut off the light, and lay down. That's your private space.
His meteoric rise to superstardom came at a price, and that price was freedom.
I can't go in the park now. So I create my own park in Neverland, my own water space, my movie theater, my theme park. That's all for me to enjoy.
All that attention took its toll, and Michael withdrew from the spotlight.
The star needs some space. Give him a chance to relax. He has a heart. He's human.
The King of Pop went into exile, only to reemerge 10 years later, vowing to return to the stage he loved. Michael came back to LA to prepare for his much-anticipated concert tour. But first, the King of Pop required a castle from which to stage his comeback.
He was so excited. He was going on this tour. He was making a comeback, and everything was coming together for him.
Joyce Essex will never forget the first time she met Michael and his family.
Good morning. He literally, walked up, "Hi, I'm Michael, nice to meet you, and this is Prince and Paris and Blanket." He's such a warm human being. I was very lucky to have that time alone in these houses, because each house was like a 20,000 square foot house, so you were in there for an hour and a half, 2 hours at a time, just hanging with Michael Jackson.
Joyce showed Michael a number of grand homes, but it was the house on Carrollwood Drive that would capture his heart.
The day that the lease went through, we were out helping getting bedding for the house, and we were washing everything, getting it ready for when he arrived with the children, It was kind of exciting.
When we come back, we take you for an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at the last home of Michael Jackson.
More inside the Michael Jackson mansion right after this.
Don't go away. Inside the Michael Jackson mansion, we'll be back right after this.
You're watching Inside the Michael Jackson mansion. Never can say goodbye.
Michael Jackson and his children lived in a 20,000 square foot mansion on grounds nearly 4 times that size. This French chateau, fit for a king, showcased Michael's exquisite taste and his extravagant lifestyle. And until now, no one's been able to see where or exactly how the King of Pop truly lived. As you approach these massive beveled, hand-blown glass and iron doors in Michael Jackson's French chateau mansion, an entrance of fairy tale splendor greets you. After all, a king, 2 princes, and a princess lived here not so long ago.
I've seen every house he's been in. I've been around for years, so to me, it was his taste. He enjoyed it. It was up to his standards. He loved it. It was comfortable. The kids loved it.
This comfortable 20,000 square foot French manor had been the home to superstar Michael Jackson and his children since January 2009. And it was very much in tune with his lavish taste and extravagant lifestyle. And never before has the public had such complete and unbridled access to this home until now.
As the creator and executive producer of Beautiful Homes and Great Estates, we shot this home, and I thought long and hard about sharing it after Michael's passing, and then I just saw how hard it was for people to really come to terms with it.
Love you, Michael!
They're standing in front of the gate, they're looking at helicopter shots, where you're basically looking at the air conditioning units on the roof, and I thought, you know what, this is time. It's time to take people inside so they can really connect with him that much more and see how he lived and where he lived.
How he lived was like a king in a gorgeous 3-level single-family home with 8 generous bedrooms, 13 sumptuous baths, and 13 stunning fireplaces.
I designed it for me to live in a house like that, and finally I moved on to a bigger house, but that particular house was one of my favorite houses I've ever built.
Muhammad Hadid was the mansion's designer and Jackson family friend who built this home for his own family.
That photograph was taken in my home in Bel Air last Thanksgiving. He said, "I want to stay in your house that one night." So I gave him the house for the evening, and I have a large theater in my home, and they spend a lot of time there with his kids. He loved my home, and that's where he wanted to live, except I was living there.
Michael was happy to find in Carrollwood another estate that exemplified Hadid's exquisite taste. Once inside this expansive interior space, you can't help but wonder what exactly captured Michael's heart. Perhaps it was the breathtaking 30-foot-high arrival hall showcasing an 18th century Turkish chandelier, or the wide formal staircase with its one-of-a-kind hand-carved banister created from 2 alderwood trees. Or maybe it was simply the mansion's over-the-top elegance.
It was a very elegant house, very stunning.
Marlon Brando's son Miko, Michael's friend and confidant, knew more than anyone why he found this house so appealing.
The way he picked a house, I mean, he liked the furniture, the architect, the layout. I mean, I believe there's a Michael Jackson taste, and he knew what he liked. And he waited to find a house that he would like.
This was the house Michael would like, a home grand in every detail and an exquisite piece of art in its own right. From the intricate hand-carved African wood moldings as you walk through every hallway of the house, to the beautifully crafted marble and stunning Russian wood floors that spill into every room.
We've used the best of all the materials for that house. It's well appointed with everything from African mahogany doors to the floors of Bavarian walnut.
The estate's elaborate architectural elements were a perfect fit for Jackson's flamboyant lifestyle. The exterior alone was built with several $1 million worth of Jerusalem stone.
And it has some of the most beautiful furniture that one can buy around the world. Beautiful French antiques, antique tapestry carpets all over. The whole house was beautifully appointed for just a person like Michael.
This was an interim residence for the King of Pop, just until he finished his 50 Series London concert tour. So it was a priority for him to settle in and to make this house a home for his family.
He actually leased that property furnished. So it was important to him what was in it, his surroundings.
He loved artwork. He loved gold statues, marble. He had expensive taste.
There was a lot of little paintings there, beautiful paintings that I picked up around the world, and they stayed with the house when I left it.
The thing with Michael, it was interesting because he knew artwork and antiques, and he'd walk in and he'd go, oh, this is so-and-so, this artist, I love this piece. And he'd know, like all the artwork, it was just amazing.
Another reason why I believe Michael chose that home is because when you walk through there, not only is it warm and engaging, it's very inspiring. And Michael was turning on his creative juices, getting ready to go on a world tour. And of course, he's going to want a place where he can live, have fun, and be truly inspired.
He loved the feeling of its intimacy, its grandeur. It's big, but yet it feels like home. And he felt that the house was a perfect place for him and his family to live in.
Michael knew how to live. And it was nice seeing that my friend can enjoy what he's worked for.
We've taken you inside the Michael Jackson mansion.
But next, we're going to walk you through the actual grounds that brought the Jackson family so much peace and joy.
More from inside the Michael Jackson mansion coming up after this. Don't go away. Inside the Michael Jackson mansion will be back right after this. You're watching Inside the Michael Jackson Mansion. Never can say goodbye.
For years, Michael searched for a place that he could bring his family and make it their home. And in January 2009, the search ended at 100 Carrollwood. With this palatial estate and beautifully manicured grounds, it seemed at long last Michael had found his refuge. Glorious, grand, beautiful, absolutely breathtaking. These are just a few words to describe the grounds that surround Michael Jackson's majestic estate.
My favorite part of the house is actually the outdoors. It's a beautiful park-like atmosphere.
This amazing backyard retreat, along with its fortress wall enclosures, provided Michael and his family the privacy that they needed. According to builder and developer Mohammed Hadid, this was one of the main reasons that Michael chose this property.
It feels like the home is somewhere in France. It doesn't feel like in the middle of Beverly Hills or Holmby Hills. It's quiet, it's enclaved in this beautiful lot of trees. So it feels like you're sitting in a country estate, yet it's in the middle of the city.
The backyard is very lush, it's very open, plenty of space, and it runs parallel with Sunset Boulevard.
Hadid situated the lot 15 feet lower than street level along Sunset Boulevard in order to enhance the yard's sense of seclusion.
You can drive Sunset and easily pass it because on Sunset it's just a wall, hedges, and trees. So there's plenty of privacy there in the backyard.
And of course, you can't help but notice the Olympic-sized swimming pool. In lieu of steps, this enticing pool features a beach entry which gently slopes beneath the water. The spacious park area of the house is where the Jackson family actually found their bliss.
The kids were happy running around. He was running around too with the kids. It was just a fun environment.
You can almost hear echoes of laughter. This is where Michael and his 3 children splashed and threw water balloons while jumping in and out of this Olympic-sized swimming pool.
I enjoyed the pool, my kids enjoyed the pool, and it seems like his kids enjoyed the pool.
He was just a regular guy, just easygoing, you know, full of laughter, liked to play around, liked to joke around, just full of life.
Michael and his kids enjoyed all of the outside living spaces here.
The fireplace is outside by the pool is a perfect place. Sit down in the afternoon, it's shady, it has a good feeling for the kids to come out and enjoy afternoon lunch.
Which is what the Jackson kids did when they were at home.
The guest house in the back, the space was so large and the kids could play out there. It was private and there was a huge fireplace in there. And the one day we went there, it was raining outside. So we're like walking in the rain and trying to like get the fireplaces going and everything, and he would sit there and just relax and look around the room and go, this is a great room. It was happy for him to be there with the children.
The estate's generous verandas offered the Jacksons a respite from the sun.
There's about 10,000 square foot of verandas around the house. From any bedroom, one can enter into a veranda overlooking the gardens.
The patio areas continued the mansion's use of the most luxurious materials money can buy.
The patio area is all floored with reconditioned stone from Jerusalem, and the pilasters were from French limestone. It has great seating areas and shaded areas, so it's for family to enjoy. It's the best place.
Tucked away in the back corner of this fabulous home is a mountain retreat.
We also have natural stone waterfalls, and it feels like it's been there for several hundred years.
The water flows into an enchanting koi pond and an adjoining jacuzzi. And like Neverland, this house had grounds that were picturesque and stunning with serene color palettes, even fit for a king. This home became Michael's very own Shangri-La.
Michael couldn't go out to the park, so he created his own park in the backyard. He had to create a space where it was really private and just a great place for him to just hang out.
Next, we take you inside the opulent Russian theater where Michael and his family got to see first-run premiere movies, all in the privacy of his very own home.
More inside the Michael Jackson mansion right after this.
Don't go away. Inside the Michael Jackson mansion, we'll be back right after this.
You're watching Inside the Michael Jackson mansion. Never can say goodbye.
It's no secret the greatest performer of all time loved to entertain, both on stage and at home. Because of his celebrity, unlike you and me, Michael couldn't just go out and catch a flick or enjoy a movie. Instead, he created his own magical world right inside his house. From a grand Russian-inspired theater to a fully equipped gym, all the way down to a private billiards room. That's right, if the King of Pop wanted it, yeah, he got it. And with all those amenities, it's no wonder Michael never wanted to leave his house. The moment you set foot in a Michael Jackson's theater, you immediately feel as though you've been transported to La Belle Epoque and the spectacularly opulent opera houses of France or Russia.
The theater is beautifully done. It's designed to capture something from the old Russian theaters, which I believe is the most beautiful theaters in the world. It's red, it's beautiful, it's comfortable.
Dramatic balconies flank the sides of this lavish theater, showcasing museum-quality art, while intricately detailed moldings frame the entire room.
The moldings were all hand-carved by great artisans. It's just the way they used to build them in the old days of Russia.
The ceilings were painted to replicate frescoes straight out of the Renaissance period by another Michael, Michelangelo.
The ceilings were hand-carved and they're remolded. I had the great artists from Russia that came in. That's all they do is paint murals around all my homes.
If there was an interior area of the mansion that Michael truly enjoyed to entertain in, it was here.
The theater he loved. He was very attuned to what kind of sound he was going to get out of it.
The theater is wired for 35mm analog and digital viewing. It was a great place to just come with the kids and hang out in the evening.
This showcase room, with its luxuriously appointed mohair velvet walls, curtains, and couches, could comfortably accommodate Michael and his 3 children, along with 15 other guests.
It's easy to picture Michael in that home with his kids, having a great time in the movie theater. That's where he spent his time with the most important thing in the world to him, his family, his kids.
Michael and his children had happy times in this room, watching first-run movies that were playing at the box office. After all, he was the king of pop, so he could watch whatever he wanted.
Having a movie theater at home has always been important to Michael. In 1982, he invited my mother and I over for dinner and showed us the movie Gandhi. Now, in 1982, not too many people had their own theater at home.
The coffered-ceiling wine tasting room and cave echo the opulent atmosphere of the theater. Muhammad Hadid creates his signature wine cellars in every house he builds.
There was a beautiful wine cellar, yes. We usually put the wine cellar in every home I built.
Michael moved into this mansion to prepare for his London concert tour. So getting into shape and working out with a physical trainer was part of that preparation.
He was in shape, obviously. He looked good. You can look at the footage that you see on TV and you see that he's in top form. He's singing, he's dancing, he's moving. Yeah, he was ready to go.
He used this training room every day.
It's a beautiful, fully furnished exercise room. It's big enough for a small hotel.
When Michael got tired of exercising, he could take a break, rack 'em up, and shoot some pool in his very own billiards room.
Now, Michael felt most comfortable in 2 places, on stage and at home. So home was extremely important to him, and so he always made sure he had the best. And when you're the king of pop, you can afford to live wherever you want to live, and he chose the best.
Coming up, a private look inside the room where Michael Jackson spent his last living days.
But next, we'll show you the places where a superstar and his family tried to lead normal lives away from the prying eyes of the paparazzi.
When Inside the Michael Jackson Mansion continues.
Don't go away. Inside the Michael Jackson Mansion will be back right after this. You're watching Inside the Michael Jackson Mansion. Never can say goodbye.
The Regal Mansion on 100 Carrollwood embodied superstar Michael Jackson's hopes and dreams for a new beginning and a fresh start. This is where the reclusive Jackson was planning his comeback after nearly a decade of avoiding the limelight. Michael's friends say that he was truly happy living in his new home. Now, you're about to see why. This house was the perfect place for the Jackson family. Michael and his 3 children, Prince Michael I, Paris, and Prince Michael II, were having the time of their lives at 100 Carrollwood, according to friend Nico Brando.
It was just a nice house for him and his kids. It was just a nice home base for now while he was rehearsing. He'd make fun wherever he went. You knew it was going to be fun. You knew it was going to be different. You knew it was going to be exciting. He lived a good life.
For the Jackson kids, it was simply magical. It had to be, since they literally lived, played, and were homeschooled in the house.
He loved those children more than anything in the world. Every time I saw him, actually, the children were with him. And they were always just happy and with him, and they would have fun and laugh. And occasionally he'd walk through the house and hum a song, and I was just like, oh my gosh, Michael Jackson's like singing in the house. You know, it was just exciting.
The superstar's family nutritionist, Cheryl Lynn Lee, made several visits to the Jacksons' Holmby Hills home and got to witness this love firsthand.
You walk into the house and just the wonderful music, the classical music that was ongoing, and just the love and interaction between he and the children was just so genuine.
The interior places where Michael loved to spend time with his children were in the family and dining room areas.
The area he loved was the kitchen area and the living area. You can eat, drink, watch TV, and do everything around one area.
This is the family space where Dad Michael and the kids had a date every single day.
When he got home, there'd be food for him and for the kids, and have the 3 square meals a day.
In this day and time with everything going on with him, and I'm sure his schedule has been very busy, they sat down together and had dinner together and have breakfast together. I mean, how many people today sit down as a family? I loved seeing that. It was so beautiful.
He was a big fan about sitting down and eating with your kids and sharing what happened during the day with each other.
And yes, the superstar loved to eat and even had a favorite dish.
Enchiladas, cheese enchiladas.
He loved Mexican food.
We definitely do some damage eating some food together. Yeah, he loved Mexican food.
One of the mansion's spaces that Michael was most excited about that would become his private retreat was the library, a rich masculine mahogany space punctuated with a handsome ebony marble fireplace.
It's very simple with a beautiful fireplace, hand-carved by some of the best artisans in the world. The library is tremendously elegant, really very well appointed, and it's easy to read in.
This was the room where Michael kept his valuable book collection.
He was an avid reader. He loved to read. He's got the biggest book collection of everybody I know. And if he was working on a project, he'd have me go out and buy everything on that particular subject. So he'd have a stack of books, and he'd read it, and he'd study it, and that's why I think he's such a brilliant businessman.
I've seen him constantly reading to the kids, constantly reading books.
Producer Rodney Jerkins will always remember the times that he spent in the Jackson family home.
I never forget one of my first sessions in New York. I was in New York working, and Paris was just born. And he had a book that said Parenting, and he pointed at the book and then pointed back to himself, and he said, I'm a father. So he was very proud of that.
He wanted to have something that he can see his kids at all times, and that was a perfect place for him. He told me that was a dream home, and this is like what he envisioned that he wants for him and his family to live in for the rest of his life.
Next, we'll take a look at Michael Jackson's master bedroom.
When Inside the Michael Jackson Mansion continues.
Don't go away. Inside the Michael Jackson Mansion will be back right after this.
You're watching Inside the Michael Jackson Mansion. Never can say goodbye.
Seldom in life does one encounter such exquisite beauty, such pure perfection. Well, that's what one interior design magazine said about the master suite of Michael Jackson.
That's right. In fact, when realtor Joyce Essex first showed Michael his brand new master bedroom, she said it brought out his inner child as he flung himself on the bed. Well, this room would become his very own private sanctuary inside the mansion.
This mansion at 100 Carrollwood was Michael Jackson's dream home for so many different reasons.
He loved the feeling of its intimacy, its grandeur. It's big, but yet very homey. And he felt that the house was a perfect place for him and his family to live in.
Every room in this house is one architectural gem after another, but it's the living quarters that make this house ultra special.
The house had a huge amount of space for closets. There was another 4 or 5 bedrooms upstairs for the children and the staff.
The moment Michael set eyes on the master suite, it was the way it made him feel that won him over.
He walked in there, he laid down on the bed and just had to feel the room and everything.
He was immediately smitten with the romantic feel and the grandiose size of the master bedroom.
The master suite was great for him. The closets were large, you could overlook the backyard. There was a fireplace. The bathrooms, everything were perfect.
The master bedroom was its own private suite on the 3rd level of the home.
When we think about Michael Jackson's bedroom, it's a beautiful large room with high ceiling, and it has French doors that open up to a covered loggia. And from that loggia, you actually can see the pool and the pool house in the background. It's a very beautiful space for him to go and get away.
At the end of long rehearsal days, this room and this bathroom were where the star took refuge.
The bedroom was about a 4,000 square foot bedroom with its closets, a great bathroom, very warm and beautiful lights coming through the windows. It's all hand carved from the bed to the surrounding windows to the floors. Everything was well appointed.
The master bedroom's luxurious bathroom suite was Michael's very own spa sanctuary.
And the master bathroom is like no other, with the water streaming out of the ceiling down into this beautiful infinity bathtub. And that steps down into this marble bathroom that has this gorgeous shower.
He was so excited. Everything was coming into place for him. He was going on this tour. He was making a comeback. I mean, everything was coming together for him.
And friends couldn't be happier that Michael was back on stage.
He was getting prepared, and you can tell he was getting prepared to do what he does best. And Michael is his best when he's on stage.
In late June 2009, Miko Brando, a longtime friend and confidant, attended a rehearsal of Michael's new show at Staples Center in LA.
But it was nice. I mean, he's up there, my friend doing his work, and he sees me, like, Miko, and I go, hey. So.
And no one ever expected this.
Is he on the floor? Where's he at right now? He's on the bed, sir. He's on the bed. Okay, let's get him on the floor. Okay? Okay, let's get him down to the floor. I'm gonna help you with CPR right now, okay?
Soon after, the paramedics arrived and rushed Michael by ambulance from his home to the UCLA Medical Center, where a team of doctors tried to revive him for over an hour. No one wanted to believe, nor were they prepared for what they were about to hear.
My brother, the legendary king of pop, Michael Jackson, passed away on Thursday, June 25th, 2009 at 2:26 p.m.
The world had lost an icon. It was devastated and grieving. If these walls could talk, they would probably tell you even more memorable stories about a man who loved his kids, a man who had hopes and dreams like every one of us, as well as fears and insecurities, and like most of us, never planned on life ending so soon.
I wished I saw him more often. He did call a couple of times in last days just before, and I wish I was here to see him, but he's a very kind man and a sweetheart and very great father to his children.
We may never truly know what happened in Michael Jackson's mansion on the day of his death, but friends hold on to memories of the happy times he had here.
He enjoyed it. He really loved it. It's nice to see that. He enjoyed the home while in his last days. I feel blessed that he was there. I wish he spent more time there, and of course, I wish I built a home for him to live a longer life.
To you, this house might seem just an empty space, but to Michael's friends and fans, this was his home.
It's strange to me because the whole thing with that house, it was supposed to be like the happy place to go. The kids and everybody was so excited about it. And it's hard to think of it that way, you know, that happened to him there.
Michael was a very special human being, and we were really fortunate to ever have him. And he is someone that I will always miss.
He was the greatest entertainer to ever walk upon the earth, and he really tried to make a difference.
He was the best father, the best entertainer, the best friend I've ever had. Any category you want to put Michael in, to me, was the best. He was just the man. He was just a great person with a great heart.
You can't say goodbye to someone like MJ, because when I leave out of this building and when I cut my car on, I'm listening to Michael.
Shiny and sparkly and splendidly bright, here one day, gone one night. Gone too soon.
Today, people are making the pilgrimage to Michael's home from all over the world. They feel the need to be close and to see where the King of Pop spent his last living moments.
Fortunately for all of us, his music lives on, and that, of course, will be his legacy. I'm John Kelly.
And I'm Jennifer Lucas. Thanks for watching.